In this video, I want to show you how to set up, install, and actually use AMD's Fidelity FX plugin for Unreal Engine. Now, this is quite simple. It's probably one of the easiest things you can actually do, so we're just going to dive right into it. Anyways, what you're going to want to do is you're going to head to gpoopen.com's website. This is basically, well, you can probably assume just by this logo up here what it actually is. But anyways, this will be linked in the description below. You're going to want to download the FSR 1.0 plugin. It states what engine version it is intended to be used for, and really it kind of goes through pretty much everything you will want to use or want to see for this install here. But to sum it up, you'll be met with this zip file. What you want to do is, if you want to install it to your project itself, which you most likely in this case would rather do to the engine, you're going to want to create a plugins folder, and inside of that, click and drag the FSR folder into that. If you want to install it to your engine, which you most likely are going to want to do, you're going to want to go to your C drive or your whatever default installation you have, program files, Epic Games, and here you have your engine installation. That's the default installation. I'm not sure if you can change this around or not, but go to your install, find the engine you want. In my case, 4.27. This is the installer build, engine, plugins, and just click and drag right into it. Basically everything that it states right in here. However, it recommends you pass this into runtime and AMD. So I would recommend following with that, just to follow along with basically everything they say. So runtime, and if there's an AMD folder in there, which there's not by default, what you would do is you would right click, create a new folder, and just name it AMD. Okay, once you have your plugin installed, go ahead and launch up your editor. Once you've done that, if you go to settings, plugins, here you will see if you have installed it to your project, it will be enabled by default. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through and manually enable it. So anyways, what you want to search for is, if you click on all, you can search for FSR, and you will see FSR 1.0, or the description of it, which is, again, their Fidelity FX. Go ahead and make sure that's enabled. If you have to enable it, go ahead and check it and hit restart project. Now, in terms of actually using it, here I just set up a very basic way I can iterate through it. So here's most likely the main commands that you are interested in. Now, the website itself has all of the DVRs listed. So for example, if you look through, here you have the name of the command, its default value, its range, and the description of it. So for example, the way you would set this is going to be either true or false, hence by the valid values of 0 or 1. So what you would do if you wanted to use this feature here, and let's say we wanted to enable it, we would copy the name, we would run the execute console command node and do space. We could either do true, false, 1, or 0. All are going to correspond to basically what, well, true or false, you're just enabling or disabling it. Now, when you get to ones like these where you have a range, so here you can see this goes from 0.0 to infinity, you would just do the same thing. Give it values of 0.0, 1.1, 1.2, so on and so on until whatever value you want. So here's their example here. So 1.0 is half as sharp, 2 is a quarter, and 3 is an eighth. So it's very quite simple. Then for the main ones, it's r.screen%. So that's what I have set up here. So every time I press F, I'm going to iterate through. So starting out, we're going to enable screen percentage 77. So this is the ultra quality. Then 67, which is quality, right here. Then we want to do balanced. Let me actually add that really quick. Then we have balanced, which is 59. And then we have ultra performance, which is 50, or the performance mode. So here we can see the quality differences as well as the frame rate difference that we get. So to enable the frame rate counter and uncap it, as you can see here, I just loaded up an example map that was from the workshop, or the AMD marketplace. We're going to hit this little drop down and go to show FPS. And then if you look down here, for example, you can see by default, I am going over 120. So yours, you might be capped at 120. To resolve this, you're going to want to do t.max FPS space your value. So this is your max FPS. I did 300. So now my frame rate can go up to a cap of 300. So to start, let's go ahead and just iterate through these. So I want to set up some print strings so we can see which ones we are on, like so. So now we can see which one we are on. So I'm going to press play and press F11 to go into full screen. So here you can see, looking right here, I'm at about 76 FPS. If I press F, I will go to ultra quality. So that just spiked me up to 105, around in that area. Press F again. We go up to quality. So we're at 120-ish FPS. Now we're at balanced, which is 130-ish FPS, 134 roughly. And one more time. And we are on the performance setting. So this one spikes all the way up to very high 140s to very low 150s. However, you can really see the difference here. So if we look specifically at this mud, or not the mud, it just looks like mud from this angle, but where my mouse is, you can see the loss of detail here. It looks like smudged mud. If I press F one more time, this will revert it back to default. So here we can see the big difference. So I press F, and we just gained all the detail back. So that really sums up the basics on how you would set up and install AMD's FSR. So, as always, if you have any question, you can find a link to my Discord in the description below. And if you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find my Patreon in the description below as well. A link to this website with all the commands will be provided, and I hope you have a good one.